Hi everyone, Joe Soto here. I just thought I would share with you a short, quick story about the very first book I ever read. I was one of those average C, B students that made it through high school without really ever reading an entire book from cover to cover. In fact, I remember being 19, going into my second year of college, and thinking to myself, wow, I've made it this far and I've never read an actual book, whether it was a fiction or nonfiction book. I think I just used Cliff Notes to get myself through high school. I barely got myself into college. I was accepted at a college that luckily would take me on with my mediocre grades just so I could play some football. And I remember not even really having $50 in my bank account going into my sophomore year. I'm already a father of one at the time. And I remember being in a shopping mall in the town where I went to school, college. And I saw in the window a book. And the book triggered for me an infomercial that I had been seeing night after night on television, late night, like literally after midnight. And the reason why I share this with you is because I used to get up with the baby, my son Colton, and feed him a baby bottle late at night because my classes didn't start until the morning. It was my way of giving some relief. So I would get up in the early mornings, like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever it might be. And this infomercial was always on late night, and it was Anthony Robbins, mostly referred to now as Tony Robbins. And I remember, going to the mall, and in the window was this guy's book, right? And this was the actual book. So this is the edition. You can't really see it on screen, but it's pretty beat up. You can see Tony Robbins looks mighty young in that picture. And you notice, it's still Anthony Robbins is how he referred. I think he refers to himself as Tony Robbins on his newest books now. But I remember seeing that book and I thought, I just felt really driven to read it because, I was so sick of seeing the commercials, seeing these success stories, and feeling like there was more out there for me to achieve if I would just be willing to study what that would mean and go after it and apply it. So I ended up buying the book. There's a new edition out now. I actually have the new edition just so I have a newer copy in my own library here. Over 1 million copies sold later. You can pick it up in softback. But I'll tell you what, that was the very first book that I ever read. And that led to now having read hundreds of books. Some not so good that I didn't finish, and lots that I have finished because they were so great, and others that I've bought multiple copies of and given out as gifts. And so I just thought I'd share it with you because that one book changed my life. One of the things I did, if you're asking what did that book do for you, is he has a section in his book about goals. And to me, the way he frames goal setting and categorizes goal setting made a difference for me. And I remember sitting down and writing out, my values, my beliefs, and then ultimately what my goals were and for what I wanted to achieve. And he has you categorize them, your financial goals, your personal goals, professional goals, your spiritual goals, etc. And I remember writing out I had a notebook. I wish I still had the notebook back then. I remember writing out 100 goals, things I just really challenging myself to think bigger and, writing down all these different goals. And it's amazing as I reflect back how many of those goals have actually came true, many of which are personal to me. But it's amazing what one book can do because that really set me on the path, hungry for learning more and for wanting more and desiring more, and really a set of belief systems that I have for myself to do whatever it takes to get there. So I just thought I'd share it with you. That's the very first book I ever read. Thanks for listening.